What's going on, you guys? My name's Ty Knots, and welcome to Top 5 Unknowns, 5 photos that need further investigation. Number 5. A man who lived in the Los Angeles area back in the 1980s is believed to have taken the lives of at least 11 different women, though some reports estimate that he could have been responsible for the passings of many more than that, possibly totaling over 100 separate victims. The man in question, Lonnie Franklin, was eventually dubbed by the media as the Grim Sleeper, and was eventually caught and arrested for his crimes around 2011. The LA Police Department then released a series of 180 photos that they had taken from Franklin's computer, with each of the photos depicting another possible victim. Police were asking viewers of these photos to please come forward if they had any information regarding who these women may be, as they had no access to any of their names or even where they lived. Eventually, tips began to pour in and people were gradually taken off the list, though 38 of these women still remain. Some of the photos of these unknown women are taken in normal, sunny locations, while others appear to have been taken while the person was either asleep, unconscious, or much worse. In fact, some of these women seem to show expressions of pure horror, though investigators are unsure why. Police are still requesting info regarding these final 38 women, though no usable information has been given since the photos were posted 8 years ago, leaving these women unidentified.
Bill, thank you. At 5, several new billboards are up in South LA as of today in an effort to capture the Grim Sleeper, the serial killer suspected in the murders of 11 people since 1985. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth is live in South LA with more on the renewed effort to find the serial killer. Leo?
Well, detectives are hoping billboards like this one, which just went up today here at 91st and Western in South LA, along with a $500,000 reward offered by the LA City Council for the capture and conviction of the suspect, will finally put the Grim Sleeper behind bars. A half a dozen billboards have gone up in South LA where at least 11 victims were killed between 1985 and 2007. There are 2 additional digital billboards on the 91 freeway in Compton. Detectives have 3 updated composite sketches of what the suspect, a serial killer known as the Grim Sleeper, might look like today. In this one, he appears weathered from a hard life. This one from extra weight. And here he appears similar to the original sketch in a description given to police by the lone victim who survived an attack by the Grim Sleeper. Janicia Peters was shot to death by the suspect.
I think the more people who are informed that there is someone out here on our streets in our community killing people, killing our women, then they'll pay more attention.
The Grim Sleeper serial killer has been sentenced to death for killing 9 women and a teenage girl. KCAL's Jasmine Veal live downtown where that sentence was just announced. Jasmine?
Yeah, that's right, Sandra. 31 years after Lonnie Franklin Jr. committed his first murder, that judge just now sentencing him to death. And inside the courtroom, victims' families were speaking out yet again, directing their pain at the man who killed their loved ones.
It's hard knowing that my sister was taken in such a tragic way.
I don't know what kind of evil resides in you, Lonnie David Franklin, but you have touched so many lives and hurt so many people.
Today, the families of 10 murdered women face the man known as the Grim Sleeper, hoping this is the last time.
Finally, justice after all these years. I think today will be the final.
Diana Ware's 23-year-old daughter Barbara was Franklin's 3rd victim, found shot once in the chest under a pile of garbage in a South LA alley in 1987.
I wanted to be in court so he'll know that this was someone who was loved, not just, trash you just throw.
There's no reason why in a serial murder case you have to bring in new allegations.
Superior Court Judge Kathleen Kennedy denied that motion, saying jurors had more than enough evidence to choose death. She spoke to the victims' families.
It is the judgment and sentence of this court that you shall suffer the death penalty. All of these people have been suffering and will continue to suffer, but hopefully, as many of them said, they feel they're going to receive some peace, and I hope that you are able to leave here with some peace today.
I hope after today it'll be some kind of relief.
Number 4. Back in 1988, Ronald Reagan, then President of the United States, took a trip to Moscow. While there, he met with a group of locals in a part of town known as Red Square. One of these individuals was a young boy who can be seen in a photograph with the president, shaking his hand. However, this boy isn't the person in question here. If you look at the blonde man standing just behind the boy, many viewers are insisting that this man is actually Vladimir Putin, Russia's current leader. According to several sources, a Russian security agency, known better as the KGB, used to hire undercover agents, asking them to show up to meetings with foreign officials and ask them difficult questions under the disguise of a common citizen. It's well known that Putin was working for the KGB around the time that this photo was taken, and the man genuinely does look like a younger version of Putin. Regardless, the photo hasn't yet been confirmed as being Putin, but it's certainly likely. Number 3. In June of 2014, a group of 24 college students from India were on a trip near the Beas River when, without any warning, a massive surge of water was released from upstream at the Largi hydroelectric power project. The students had been on an educational trip traveling around the area when their bus had stopped so that they could take pictures near the banks of the Beas River. Though immediately after these photos were taken, the floodwaters poured in, sweeping away all 24 students, leaving no survivors. It's uncomfortable to imagine such an awful tragedy, but when you see the photos of just how happy these students were in the moments before their passing, it makes things that much worse. The official declaration on this case was that the lives of all of these students were lost due to gross negligence on the part of the hydroelectric company. The company is required to issue a series of sirens anytime there is expected to be a surge of water. However, according to many, the sirens didn't sound on this specific day. Additionally, the purpose of the sirens is only known to locals, and anyone who isn't from this specific area of India would have absolutely no idea what these sirens meant. It doesn't appear as though the hydroelectric company will be held legally responsible for this tragedy, though in the minds and hearts of many, Largi Hydroelectric is certainly to blame. Number 2. This next photo is one that I'm sure most of us are familiar with. This photo shows a man attempting to escape the pathway of an oncoming train. The 58-year-old named Ki Suk Han was a father and husband and was allegedly pushed in front of the train by a homeless man. He was unable to escape and was crushed under the train's weight just moments later. According to eyewitnesses, Ki Suk may have actually initiated the argument himself though, after leaving home drunk one evening following an argument with his wife. However, the homeless man in the situation is also known to have had a pretty violent past, as well as issues with drugs and mental health. Though the homeless man also insists that Ki Suk was pestering him for quite some time and refused to leave him alone. But regardless, the homeless man was arrested and sent to trial, at which time he was sentenced to 22 years in prison, regardless of the numerous eyewitness accounts insisting that the brawl was in self-defense.
Leave me the f*** alone. Take your mother ass over there, stand in line, wait for the R train, that's it.
A visibly shaken Ashley Han describes her father, Ki Suk Han, the man tragically killed by an oncoming Q train moments after Naheem Davis, a homeless individual, allegedly pushed him onto the tracks.
I just really wish I had one last chance to tell my dad how much I loved him. That's all.
The Han family, though still in mourning of their deceased father and husband, broke their silence Wednesday, 2 days after the incident. No one came to Han's aid while he was on the tracks before the train hit him. Ashley Han says she didn't want to fixate on whether or not someone could have helped her father back onto the platform.
I don't know. Like, what's done is done, and I don't really want to dwell about what could have happened.
Earlier in the week, Han's wife Saram told the Post in an exclusive interview that a drunk Han argued with her before he left home to take that fateful trip. Also, witnesses say that Han and Davis argued on the tracks before the alleged push.
Number 1. In January of 2005, the bodies of a Canadian couple appeared on the shoreline of a Thailand beach. As it would turn out, the two were actually victims of a tsunami that poured in about 1 month prior, taking the lives of numerous tourists and locals. Weeks after the bodies were found, a Seattle man then found a camera that washed up along Washington's shore. The camera was clearly damaged beyond repair, but the memory card still appeared to be functional. This man then took the card home and began thumbing through the photos. When he found out that the camera belonged to the couple who washed up on the Thailand shore, their case had been very publicly televised and the man recognized them right away. He then got in contact with the couple's 2 sons and explained his finding to them and offered to drive the camera to them, all the way from Washington to Vancouver. In the photos taken by the couple, you can clearly see the tsunami steadily getting closer and closer with each passing image, eventually appearing to be only a few feet away from them. It's extremely unclear why the couple refused to seek shelter and also what they were doing on the beach after numerous warnings had been issued about rising tides. To this day, no one can exactly explain this strange situation. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep updated with our videos.